On this tutorial, we are going to lazy load picture tags, and in case you are not familiar with this HTML tag, I have provided some links on the description, and I even wrote a blog post of how I implement them in order to be able to use WebP images, which is an image format that provides a better compression than regular image formats, meaning they have a smaller size. The problem is Safari still does not support WebP formats, so I have to use picture tag in order to provide a fallback for PNG formats in Safari. I go into details on my blog post about this if you want to check that out. But anyway, let's begin. On the previous tutorial, I have already implemented the code to lazy load images, and I have already updated the HTML code for lazy loading these picture tags. As you can see, I have added the lazy class to the picture tag, and I have also converted the src set to data-src set. And on the image, I have the data src on the src, and on the src attribute, I am using my placeholder image. This is all I have done so far, so let's see how it looks on the browser. As expected, you can see that my image tags are being loaded, but my pictures are not. It's only the placeholder. So I need to switch the data-attributes to the real ones, as I did with the image tags, and I am going to do that on my lazy load function. Actually, I need to write a function that will do something similar as the lazy load function, and the only thing that will change is the code that I have here inside my if entry is intersecting. In order to avoid code repetition, I am going to create an IO wrapper first. I will copy and paste my current lazy load function, and I am going to rename it to IO wrapper, and it's going to receive as a parameters the target and a callback function for when the target is intersected. Here I will delete the code inside the if entry is intersected, and I will replace it by a call to the onIntersect parameter callback function, and I will pass the entry that is intersecting. Now in my lazy load function, I will replace the intersection observer code for a call to my IO wrapper, passing the target and a function that will receive entry as my parameter. I will move my code inside of my callback function, and I will also need to move my IO wrapper declaration to the top, and I will do a quick test on the browser to make sure I haven't broke anything. I can see that my images are still being loaded. Okay, now I am going to implement the lazy load on the picture tags. I am going to define the lazy load picture function, which is also going to receive a target parameter, and I will export it. And of course, using the right export syntax. I will go to my post.js file, and I will update my import and back to my lazy load picture function. What is it that I need to do once my picture target is intersected? I am going to begin grabbing a reference to my picture node, which is on entry.target, and then I need to go through all of its child nodes, and in here I need to identify if the child is a source node or an image tag, and I can do that through the tag name property, which returns the tag name on uppercase. I will have different code for each child node type. When it's a source tag, I need to get the value set on the data-src and set that on the actual src attribute. And for the image tag, I need to do the same with the src attribute, and I will also add the load event listener so that I can add the blur in class to the image and remove the lazy class from the picture. On my post.js file, I have already created a query selector for getting all of my pictures that has the lazy class, and while I'm here, I am going to update the image query selector to include just the image that has the lazy class. And just like I did with the images, I just do a for each picture and call the lazy load picture function on each element. Let's refresh the page and see if it's working. And apparently there is an error. And yep, I have a typo. I forgot a T here at the end. I am going to fix that and try again. You can see that my picture tags are now being loaded correctly. Okay, great. Now I have functions to lazy load all of my images, But let's remember the initial goal, which is improving the score of my homepage that I initially showed here. And you may have been confused because I have been doing this on a blog post page instead of my homepage. And if we check my homepage, it's still loading all of the images on the initial load and not doing lazy load. There is a couple of reasons why I did it first on my blog post page. One is that my homepage is only using picture tags and not images, and I wanted to explain first how to do it with a regular image tag. And the other reason is that on my homepage, if I search for picture, you will see that this is the only picture tag on my results, and I don't want to lazy load this one because this image is on screen on the initial load. For the rest of my pictures, I'm using a view component, which is something very specific for .NET Core. The idea behind it is to make it easier to reuse HTML code, and without going too deep into it, let me just show you the HTML code for this component. If you're not familiar with this, it's just looping through an array of images URLs that I am passing as an argument and generating a picture tag. If I want to make it lazy, I just need to change it in a similar way as I did with a normal picture tag. Just add the lazy class and update the src attributes to data-src set, and doing the same with the image and adding the placeholder. If I reload my homepage now, as expected, I just see the blue-red placeholder. In order to lazy load them, I just need to come to my home.js file and import the lazy load picture function. I will grab from my post.js file the query selector and update it to match my pictures on the homepage and call the function for each picture node. I will refresh my homepage again and hopefully they should be loading now. Great! And to make sure they are being lazy loaded, I will open the Chrome Developer Tools and check the Network tab. And indeed, you can see that they are being loaded as I scroll down. Okay, time to push my changes to my live site. I already have the commits ready, so I just need to push and wait for the build server to finish the deployment. Now that the deployment is complete, I am going to go to my homepage and check if it's working, and I can see that the images are being loaded as I scroll down. Now let's check my page again on Page Speed Insights. "91, a very impressive improvement, and if I scroll down, you can see that my speed index is almost at 3 seconds. And in the opportunities section, there's only remove unused CSS, which I don't think it's worth the effort. And if I check my score for desktop, you can see it's 99. If I come to my home page and I refresh the page with cache disabled, I can see that the load time is only 1.5 seconds for my current connection. I am pretty happy with the results, and I really hope that you have found this helpful. Alright, see you soon.